Second, as always, if we can begin with our beat writers, that would be greatly appreciated.
Hi, Steve. How would you describe the impact of 19 assists for Draymond, part of a triple-double?
Yeah, it started right at the beginning of the game, Kareth. I mean, he was just picking the defense apart, and I think he had 7 or 8 assists. You know, the first time I looked up at the scoreboard, you know, late in the first quarter. So he was fantastic. I think you can see that Draymond is in really good shape. Just physically, he looks better, he feels better, and he's on top of his game right now.
Do you sense a more motivated Draymond because of what happened in Charlotte?
Oh, I don't know about that. I just think he's been playing better and better, you know, over the last couple of weeks. And you can ask him that, but you know, he's been great. He's been locked in now for several weeks and just playing at a really high level.
It seemed like Kelly Oubre got a lot of dunks off of switches and just backdoor cuts and stuff like that. Was that something you guys targeted? Is that something you guys wanted to stress going into this game? Is just, you know, those backdoor cuts and things?
Well, we knew that the game was going to be a little wild. You know, Charlotte brings a lot of energy, and they push the tempo, and you know, things can get a little chaotic. And if we're somewhat organized within that chaos, then that's when Draymond just starts picking people apart with his vision and his passing. And, you know, Kelly's just gotten so much better now in recent weeks with his recognition of, you know, what's open, what's available on the cuts, and he's knocking down 3-point shots too. So Kelly's in a great groove.
Is there a difference in the impact a passing big man like Draymond has versus a guard who's maybe just expected to pass more because of his position?
Yeah, it sort of inverts the floor, you know, because you generally have to guard Draymond with a bigger player, and you're pulling that bigger defender away from the hoop. And you know, most teams are used to certain patterns that they see in the league, and you know, a lot of the stuff that happens with Steph and Draymond is unusual. It's very unique. So it's hard for a team to really lock in on it and be comfortable with it.
This was the elusive third straight win for you guys. Is this just like easily the best rhythm you guys have been in this season, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I thought tonight was a great win given the circumstances of the schedule. This is really a tough game to come back from that, you know, 4-game trip back to back on the East Coast, and then fly back and get right back out here tonight. Very difficult circumstances. So I'm proud of the guys for getting the win, and I kind of like the fact that nobody in the locker room was really that happy with the way we played. You know, we had some good moments and some good individual performances, but it was a wild game. It was an awkward game, and you know, the locker room's quiet. That's a good sign. We've won 3 in a row, and nobody's that happy. So we know we can play better, and it's a sign that you know, we think there's more to come.
What did you think of James Wiseman's defense tonight?
I called a quick timeout in the fourth quarter because he was late rotating. This was a tough game because it was so fast and wild. There's a lot to sort out as a big man. So he had some really good plays and then some where he was slow to rotate. But you can see the impact he can make. I mean, you know, he's a scoring machine when he's out on the floor. It's just a matter of him getting more comfortable with our defensive coverages and, you know, game recognition, that kind of stuff.
Steve, you're 34 games into the season, and the second unit still is so uneven. What does that unit have to do to sort of get to a point where you can actually let them stay out there and finish a game like tonight, for example?
Well, we've just got to get better. And you know, it's not like we've had a consistent rotation lately. You know, we did for a while, playing Eric at the 5. Now the last couple games, we've played Eric at the 4 and James at the 5. So it's a brand new lineup, given the difference in dynamics. With Eric at the 5 and small guys around him, it's an easier flow to find. And so, if we're going to stick with this group playing together, they got to find their offensive rhythm, but more than anything, they got to get stops. That's what keeps the momentum in the game, is stringing together some stops.
What do you need to get from Brad?
Brad has been very good defensively for us, and I know people are locked in on his shooting, but the fact is, Brad has been an excellent defender for us this year. He's a big reason why our defense has gotten a lot better, over the course of the season. He's strong. He can guard multiple spots. He just has to get more comfortable offensively. He's a much better shooter than he has shown. It's not an easy situation for him. I barely play him with Steph and Draymond. So he's got a burden on his shoulders to sort of, carry that second unit, lead them. And, as I said, it's been an inconsistent unit and lineup that I've thrown out there. So we just got to find some comfort level with that group.
Steve, James Hill with Black News Channel. When you look at Wiseman and the tremendous upside that he has, and he can get better every day, what do you see when you look at that young man?
Well, I see a future all-star. I see a guy who's got incredible athleticism and poise and skills and in a 19-year-old body with barely any college experience. So he's just extremely raw, but he's got a great future.
Your next 6 are against West contenders, really. Considering you guys are kind of in a nice rhythm, are you wanting to see what you can do against really the conference's elite?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's a much better time to play those teams than if we were struggling, So I like where we are. I think we've found a rhythm, found a groove. We're starting to build an identity, in terms of being a defensive team and, leading the league in assists. So the ball movement is there. A lot of good things are happening. And the good news is we can still get a lot better.
Steve, I've got one more on Draymond. There's been so much made about his emotions over the last week or so, but specific to his skill set, is there anybody else in the league who can do what he does defensively and then set up your offense and run it the way he has been?
Well, maybe LeBron. When you talk about a guy with size who handles the ball and controls the game and then, can defend at the other end. But there aren't many players. That's the only one who comes to mind. And obviously LeBron and Draymond are very different players, but just in terms of, making an impact at both ends, having that size and that brain, to control the game and to understand everything that's happening. Draymond is really special.
Coach, how satisfied were you with the pace of the game that you guys played today?
Well, it was the pace we expected. We like to play fast, and Charlotte is playing faster and faster, as LaMelo plays more and kind of takes over that team. So pretty much what we expected. It was uncomfortable at times because it was so wild. But they made us uncomfortable with their pressure. So I give them a lot of credit. Thanks a lot. Have a good night, everybody.